Listen, before we even get into this, you need to understand what we are really talking about here. Because on the surface, it sounds like just another music headline, another record broken, another name added to some list. But when you actually sit down and think about what just happened, when you truly grasp the size of this moment, it hits different. We are not talking about a small achievement. We are not talking about some regional artist who got lucky with one song that went viral on a Tuesday. We are talking about a global takeover, so massive, so loud, so undeniable that even the numbers themselves seem shocked. Shh. Turn the volume up, but keep it low. This is rap's deepest secrets, the one place the labels can't control, exposing the codes, the cover-ups, the real cost of fame. Help us to monetization by subscribing. Now back to the video. Bad Bunny just broke the Weeknd'S record and became the artist with the most songs to surpass 1 billion streams on Spotify. 1 billion. Per song. And he did not do it with one song or two songs. He did it with more songs than any other artist on the entire platform. Let that sit with you for a second. Now, to really understand why this is a big deal, you have to go back and remember where this all started. Bad Bunny, real name Benito Antonio Martinez Acacio, grew up in Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. Not in some mansion, not in a music industry household with connections and studio access. He grew up in a regular neighborhood, the kind of place where you have to fight for everything, where your dreams feel too big for your surroundings, but you hold on to them anyway because you have nothing else. He was bagging groceries at a supermarket while uploading his music to SoundCloud. Think about that image for a moment. A young man stacking shelves, scanning items, making minimum wage, while somewhere in the background his songs were slowly spreading across the internet like a quiet fire that nobody had noticed yet. That fire was about to burn everything down. When his music first started catching attention, the industry did not know what to do with him. He did not fit the mold. He was doing reggaeton, but not in the clean, commercial way that labels were comfortable with. He was raw, experimental, emotional, loud, and completely unfiltered. He wore nail polish and skirts and talked about love and heartbreak and street life with equal confidence. He was not trying to be palatable. He was just being himself. And that realness is exactly what the streets recognized first. Before the magazines, before the awards, before the stadium tours, the people were already locked in. The listeners found him before the industry did. And that is a story that never gets old. His rise was not a slow crawl either. Once it started, it was like watching a wave form in the distance and realizing too late that it's actually a tsunami. His collaborations with artists like Drake, J Balvin, and Daddy Yankee pushed him into every playlist, every party, every car speaker, in every city on every continent. His solo projects landed like bombs. Yo Hablo Lo Que Me Da La Gana dropped in 2020 and the world was not ready. That album moved with a confidence that felt almost arrogant, but he backed it up every single time. Then came El Último Tour del Mundo, which made history as the first all-Spanish language album to hit #1 on the Billboard 200 in the United States of America, the country where for decades people in the music industry whispered that Spanish music had a ceiling, that it could only go so far, that mainstream America would never fully embrace it. Bad Bunny walked through that ceiling like it was made of paper. But here's where the Spotify story gets really interesting, because what we're talking about is not just one or two massive hits inflating his numbers. The record he just broke is about consistency. The Weeknd held the record for having the most songs cross 1 billion streams on Spotify, and that was not easy to achieve. Abel Tesfaye built that record over years of critically acclaimed albums, iconic songs, massive cultural moments, Super Bowl halftime shows, and crossover appeal that stretched from R&B to pop to alternative to everywhere in between. The Weeknd is not a small name to be beating. He is one of the biggest artists the music world has ever produced, and Bad Bunny just stepped past him with more billion-stream songs than anyone else on the platform. What makes this even more mind-bending is the language factor. Spotify operates in over 180 countries. Its user base is genuinely global. And for years, the platform's charts were dominated by English language music. That was just the reality. English was the language of mainstream streaming culture, but Bad Bunny has completely rewritten that script. His majority of catalog is in Spanish. His lyrics reference Puerto Rican culture, Caribbean street life, specific slang that doesn't translate easily, local references that someone from outside that world might not fully understand. And yet, people all over the globe are streaming his songs billions of times. People who don't speak a word of Spanish are singing along phonetically because the music hits so hard that the language barrier literally doesn't matter anymore. That is a level of power that goes way beyond music. That is cultural penetration on a scale that changes how we think about what is possible. You also have to talk about the timing of all this, because the music industry is in a strange and turbulent place right now. Streaming has completely restructured how artists make money, how fans consume music, how albums are marketed, how careers are built and destroyed. The old rules don't apply anymore. You don't need a radio station to co-sign you. You don't need a major label to get your music heard. You don't need a physical CD in a store. You need the internet and something worth saying. And if you have both of those things, the ceiling is gone. Bad Bunny understood this before most artists did. He has always operated with a kind of fearlessness that comes from not needing anyone's permission. He drops music when he feels like it, he does interviews when he wants to, he shows up to events on his own terms or not at all. He is not chasing the machine chases him. And his fans, the people who actually drive these numbers, are not casual listeners. They are devoted in a way that is almost difficult to explain to someone on the outside. They don't just stream his songs, they dissect his lyrics, they analyze his fashion choices, they follow his cultural references back to their origins, they learn about Puerto Rico through his music, they feel represented and seen and celebrated in a way that they didn't before he existed at this level. When you have that kind of connection with an audience, the numbers are almost inevitable. The streams are just the visible surface of something much deeper and much more personal between an artist and the people who love his work.
Now, people are going to ask where this goes from here, and that is the question that nobody can fully answer. Records like this tend to feel like a peak, like a destination reached, but Bad Bunny has shown repeatedly that every peak he hits is just a launching pad for something higher. He is still young. His music is still evolving. His influence on Latin music, on global pop culture, on fashion, on language, on what it means to be a proud Caribbean artist on the world stage is still growing. He is not finished, not even close. What just happened on Spotify is not just a music statistic. It is a statement. It is proof that a kid from a small island who used to bag groceries for a living, who sang in Spanish when the industry said Spanish had limits, who dressed how he wanted and loved how he wanted and created how he wanted without asking for anyone's approval, can become the most streamed artist in the world on the most powerful music platform ever built. That is not just a record. That is a revolution. And the most electric part about all of it is that nobody really saw it coming. But now that it is here, it feels like it was always inevitable. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.